When the pressure's on, most men crack. They get defensive, they get emotional, or they freeze up and they stop and they don't do anything. But the ones who can stay calm, the ones who can stay controlled, the ones who can control the conversation and they can control the outcome, that's what happens when you stay calm. So here's how you can do the same. Hey guys, it's Brendan, and in this video, we're going to talk about how you can stay calm in a conversation, how you can then start to master the conversation because you are staying calm. And I think for a lot of men, this is a really tricky thing for them, or not so much tricky, they just don't know how to do it. They've never been taught, and we don't necessarily have the best role models of who teach us how to act better and hold ourselves in conversations. And so I'm going to go through a few key points for you here that's going to allow you to start building that skill, building that habit, building that communication skill that's going to allow you to be a better communicator. And the first I want you to understand is you've got to control your physiology, control your body. Your body reacts before your mind does. So, if you're getting nervous, you might feel your body and your chest going like this, in and out, and then your mind kind of responds afterwards, or consciously. So it's the same, like we might fear that in the side. So we really need to help us, and we can literally change our physiology, and that changes. It's been proven that if you stand in a power pose, so like hands on your hip like this, or you can put your hands like this, or like this, like superhero pose kind of thing. Or if you're sitting down in a chair, lean back on the chair and put your legs out and put your hands up like this. Those power poses, literally, if you do that for 2 minutes, that it will increase your testosterone by like 30-something%. It will increase your growth hormone. It will increase your confidence simply by just standing there like this. It's crazy, and it will give you more energy too. So you can use something so simple and use your body to change how you react in situations and how you might feel calm. If you feel more confident, and you're naturally going to react different in a conversation, aren't you? You're going to be more calm because that's kind of what confidence is. So the more that you can hack your body like that to hack your physiology, naturally is going to change. So slow down your breathing, relax your posture, and make sure you hold eye contact. When you look in control, you feel in control. So hold your body like you're in control, because you are. Head up, shoulders back, no slouching, stand up straight, simple things. But this, compared to this, you're naturally going to have so much more calmness and feel so much more in control when you're standing like this than you are if your shoulders are rounded and you're kind of bending over or looking down. So simple. But what happens in your body, how you move your body, how you shift your energy. Emotion, energy, and motion. So you just have to change how your body is. Now you see it so often, it's like so many people looking down and not wanting to speak with others. You can kind of see it, like I walk around the gym and you can kind of see people who don't don't hold their body well, and they just look down, whereas other people walk in and you can see like they look happy. Like you can tell so much about someone just by how they hold their body. And so we literally can do that and use that to hack our body and hack our mind and hack how we communicate, simply by focusing on our body. Now the body is the servant, not the mind. Now James Allen said, the body is the servant of the mind. It obeys the operations of the mind. So most people, they don't know this, and they think that their body dictates their mind, but it's actually the opposite. So use your body to your advantage. Get your mind to go, you know what, this is what's going to happen. We're going to stand calm, nice and strong, nice confidence in this conversation, and you're going to be able to feel calmer, and you're going to feel much more in control and master the conversation simply by how you hold your body. And so now you've got your body sorted, you're standing well, or you're sitting well and you're feeling confident, and maybe you're standing there in a power pose, or you've stood in a power pose just before the conversation. The next thing is you've got to master the power of the pause. Now most people rush to respond when pressured. Instead of taking a second, a pause shows confidence and keeps emotions in check. Most people, especially if they're in an argument, right? They might be in an argument and they might hear something, and then instant they just want to bounce back like a little, chihuahua. Like that thing that they do is that reaction straight away, it's fueled by emotion. Whereas if we can identify that, and rather than just trying to bark straight back, we just take a second and breathe. Not only does it show the other person what they've said, make them feel important, because it's like if we pause It's like that other person feels important then, because it's like we're taking the time to think about what they just said. This happens unconsciously. And so the other person's going to feel more important by you doing that. Not only are you going to keep your emotions in check, it means that you're not going to then say something that you don't want to say and bark back and say something stupid, because we say dumb things when we're fueled by emotion. One of the biggest things is your mind has time to process things when there's silence. So if you say something and you want to get a point across, you don't want to just get the point across and keep moving on, because then the point's done and you just move on. Now, obviously this is a video format and we don't want, lots of pauses, but if I'm speaking at a live event and I say something and I want the audience to really feel it, I want it to really land, I'm going to do a nice pause afterwards. I might say, X, Y, Z, and then just let it land and let everyone sit with that, because the emotion that you were feeling just before the pause, then the pause amplifies the feeling. So if you put someone in a state that you don't want them to feel and you pause, it's probably not the best time to pause. But if you have them in a state that you want them to feel, it's a good time to pause, because it amplifies that feeling, right? So the pause can be very powerful. Don't overthink about it, but just be comfortable with having the pause there. Now, in our events and in our programs, I'm fully confident with people sitting in it. There's so many times people will be uncomfortable, almost like they're squirming. There's something going on, they're feeling frustrated, they're feeling angry, and I'm helping them work through something, and I'm just sitting back, I'm just letting them sit in it. And I'm quite happy standing there for ages, just allowing them to sit in it, because I know the feeling is the healing. Now, obviously that's a coaching sense, and you might be in a conversation where it's not a coaching sense, but even still, I'm just giving that person space to process whatever's going on for them. And so if you're in a conversation and someone's maybe heightened emotions, you just want to pause and just be okay with them sitting in it. And you need to be uncomfortable with not trying to say anything and to fill in that gap, fill in the silence. And so you just let them sit there, let them express everything, let them get everything off their chest they need to. And then you're going to stay nice and calm. You're not going to react. You're just going to listen to them, just hear them, give them the space. And then you'll probably find that things just start to improve just as it is. They'll kind of talk their way out of it. They'll get things out of their head. They realize that it doesn't make sense, and then there's no problem. And so I noticed that, if I let these people just talk at our events or programs, and I just let them talk and let them express what they need to, and I just sit there and let them sit in it, one, it amplifies it and they get even more frustrated or angry or whatever, and then I can just say something like this or break their state, and it's a bigger breakthrough for them. Or they kind of just talk about it and then it just doesn't really make sense and it just kind of fizzles off. And so I'm fully comfortable with that. So this is the state that you need to get to, is being fully confident in the silence and letting other people feel things without feeling like you need to break the silence or comfort them or even say anything, because it's uncomfortable. So the more that you can just sit in it and practice that, if someone's saying something, just count to 2 or 3 in your head before you say anything. It's going to make a massive difference in your communication and allow you to stay so much more calmer rather than trying to bounce back as soon as someone says something. Now, Viktor Frankl said, between stimulus and response, there is this space. In that space is our power to choose our response. So what he means by that is there is a stimulus and a response, right? So there is someone that says something and then that we respond. And it's the stimulus on showing us how we respond. So then there's this space in between. And so the longer that space is, the longer we have to choose what we want to say and choose the response. So master the pause, be able to just reflect for a second or two. If someone says something, you don't need to reflect for 5 seconds, because that might be a little bit strange. But if you need 5 seconds, don't worry about it. You're better off taking longer to pause and think about what you're going to say than to just say something straight back and go, man, I wish I didn't say that. It happens so often. So master the pause, practice it just in conversation. So then when the time comes when it is a conversation where you need to stay calm, you've already built that muscle already. And the third and final point here is detach from the emotion. Now, when we experience pressure, it triggers this fight or flight response. Mentally step back. You don't necessarily have to physically step back, but mentally just take a step back. It's kind of fits in a little bit with the point before about pausing, but take a step back, focus on the bigger picture and respond with logic, not with impulse. If we respond with impulse, our logic gets pushed to the back and the emotion is at the front. And that's when we say stupid things. That's when we say things we're going to regret later and go, why did I say that? It's because it was fueled by emotion. It wasn't smart because our logic was pushed to the back. So if we understand that, then you can understand that when you push and take the time just to take a mental step back, then what you're doing is you're pushing the emotion back with you, and then you can respond with logic. So then that makes it so much easier. You're not going to say stupid things. You know, that I see it so many often. And when I was younger, especially in relationships, as soon as there was some kind of argument or some kind of conflict, I just wanted to get out of there real quick. Like the flight response for me was like, boom. There was no fighting here. It was like, let's go, you know? And so I can remember that I had an argument with an ex-partner, and I didn't really think it was much. I'm like, whatever, I just want to get over it. I didn't say that to her. I just went upstairs and I just started eating. She came up and just lost it. And I was like, what's going on here? And I got in the car and left. And I kind of reflected on that later on, and I was like, wow, it was like, I could just imagine what it was like for her, but also what it was like for me. And like, you know, she wasn't into the work. I wasn't into the work at that time. So it was just is what it is. But I could see that there was so much of that going on for me, of this avoiding, like wanting to fight or flight. And it wasn't until I allowed myself to get comfortable in experiencing those things and be comfortable in that conflict or in that discomfort, that then now, if something like that happens, I can just sit there and just absorb it almost, and just go, wonder what's going on for that person to feel like they need to react like this or to do this. And so it's so much easier, and I can just stay so much calmer. And it comes from just detaching from the motion and just practicing that more and more and more. Now, Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. So when you realize that you have the power to stay calm in any situation and master any conversation, that's your power, and it doesn't matter what happens externally. You have all the power inside of yourself to do that. That's when you have so much strength, and you'll find that you have almost like this enlightened feeling. I'm not saying you're going to be enlightened, but almost like you have this enlightened feeling knowing that the external world doesn't hurt you. It's a powerful place to be. Pressure reveals who you really are. Master staying calm, and you'll master any conversation in any situation. It's a choice that you get to make. Follow those 3 steps. Practice those 3 steps. Practice the pausing in conversations when you don't even need to have the pause, just in a day-to-day conversation, but pause and just go, you know what, in this conversation, I'm just gonna practice pausing for a moment when someone says something. And then you'll probably find that you say things better too, because you just have that second to process what's going on. And then when the time comes when you need it to stay calm in a situation, you've already built that skill and built that habit to be able to handle that. So that's the choice that you get to get. So that's the choice that you get to make. So hope you enjoyed this video. Drop in the comments what your biggest takeaway was. If there's anything I can do, as always, let me know. I got you back for life. I want to help you. I want to push you to be great. I want you to be the best version of yourself. Reach out to me on social media. If there is a message, or if you want to ask me something, reach out to me on social media and we'll connect. But otherwise, I look forward to seeing you on the next video. You made it to the end of the video, and you are one of the top 1%ers who get to this point. Now, if you're sick and tired of not growing to the level that you want, if you're sick and tired of being the same spot that you were 12 months ago, if you're like, you know what, I've got so much more to offer, but I don't really know how to get there, then if that is you, down below, book in your call with one of my team. Just enter your phone, enter your email, and enter your number. And hey, look, we can't reach you if you enter details that are wrong. So enter your right details. We'll be able to reach out to you. We'll show you the 4 stages that we take men through that's gonna completely rip you out of your current situation and push you in a new direction that where you want to go. I will push you as hard as I can to get that outcome for you, because I know how much the life is good on the other side of it when we get out of the shit, when we get onto where we want to go. So click the button and I'll see you on the other side.